Guys, now it's time to go over and take a little bit of movie news.
What?
What?
All right, you guys, let's talk about some of the stuff that is in the news today. And this morning, this happened. Apparently, well, I guess technically this article was written last night, but apparently the trailer for the new upcoming Tom and Jerry movie is supposed to drop sometime today. I was checking all the way up until the start time of this video, which is 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. The trailer has not dropped yet, but it will drop at some point later today. I'm kind of looking forward to it because I don't think this is going to be a very good movie. Here's why. Let's jump into the article and let me scroll down. This particular article comes from Gadgets 360. I mean, like there's a whole bunch of articles around, but so this article, as this article points out, there hasn't been a Tom and Jerry movie, like an official movie made, since 1992, but they have started releasing some promo photos. Here you can see Tom and Jerry in front of the Statue of Liberty. Scroll up, here is Tom and Jerry in front of the Eiffel Tower. If we jump over to Screen Rant, here they are in front of Tower Bridge over in London. So I mean, they have started doing a little bit of promotions in this, but here's what I want to kind of draw everyone's attention to. This particular movie, even though it has a pretty good cast with Chloe Grace Moretz, Michael Pena, Ken Jeong, Rob Delaney. I'm not too familiar with Pallavi Sharda. I'm not too familiar with her work. But it's got some decent talent. Rob Delaney, like I said, Ken Jeong, Chloe Grace Moretz, Michael Pena. But here's the thing: it's being directed by Tim Story. If you're not familiar with Tim Story is the director of the first Fantastic Four movie back in 2005. He also directed what was the name of that movie? Womp. Oh, it's escaping me. Hold on. I'm so sorry. It's here in the article. Ride Along, 2014's Ride Along. I want to like Tim Story. I feel like of all of the interviews that I've seen from him and like the behind the scenes making of and all this stuff, he seems like a really nice guy. He just seems like a really cool guy who just loves this stuff and is passionate. I don't think Tim Story is as proficient in film directing as we would like him to be. That's just my personal opinion. If you like Ride Along, great, go for it. If you like Fantastic Four, the original 2005 version, great, that's awesome, good for you. I just don't think that he's the kind of director that speaks to me, and I would love to see a little bit more from him. And so I love Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is one of those IPs that I've always been in love with. I mean, there's something about like. Same thing for Wile E. Coyote in Roadrunner. I think I like Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner a little bit more than Tom and Jerry, but there's something about those silent film characters who just run around and do slapstick comedy, and it's sometimes it's stupid, but sometimes the way that they go about executing this slapstick is really, really clever. Let's jump back into the article for a second. We get a bit of a synopsis here as to what this movie is about. Kayla is a new employee. Kayla is being portrayed by Chloe Grace Moretz. Kayla is the new employee at a posh hotel where Jerry, the cat, takes up residence, threatening to ruin a glamorous wedding. I'm sorry, Jerry the mouse, excuse me. Jerry the mouse takes up residence, threatening to ruin a glamorous wedding. So she hires a broke alley cat named Tom to come in and get rid of Jerry, which proves to be easier said than done. That may be for the best, as the duo will likely need each other to defeat Kayla's villainous boss, who isn't a big fan of either one. Now, you guys, this is a horribly written press release. This is a horribly written synopsis. Whoever wrote this, man, I sure hope it wasn't Tim Story, because he seems like such a nice guy. But the synopsis of this film right here is somewhat confusing. It's somewhat confusing, especially the last half. And I'm just talking from a grammar standpoint, like, who exactly are we talking about when you say the duo? Because you've already announced 3 different groupings of people. And then in the last sentence, you introduce a 4th character, her villainous boss. I assume that's probably going to be Rob Delaney. I assume. Unless it's Michael Pena. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, or I don't know, maybe it's Ken Jeong. Ken Jeong, sometimes he can play the villainous characters and things. It doesn't matter who the villainous character is. It's just, first of all, this press release is confusing. The synopsis of this movie is a little confusing. First of all, which grouping are they talking about? And I had to read it a few times to realize, oh, they're talking about Tom and Jerry. The duo will likely need each other, Tom and Jerry, to get out of this mess. But I don't know. This is the kind of synopsis. It sounds like this is going to end up being the kind of movie that you just kind of like put your hand on the side of your face and go, oh man, what is happening right now? I am all for blending 2D animation with live action settings and backgrounds. I think that is a really interesting aesthetic. I think that could work. I think that could work really, really well. It annoys me. It annoys me when you have these popular franchises that are based on very specific characters. Tom and Jerry works because it's Tom and Jerry. Not because there's other human elements. The human elements that happen to pop up in Tom and Jerry, first of all, you never see their faces. You never see their faces. And the human elements in the Tom and Jerry cartoons really don't add anything except for context. That's it. They only add context. So all of this stuff of like, oh, we need to set up a villain. Like, of course there has to be. No, there doesn't have to be a villain. Tom is the villain. End of story. If you need a villain, Tom's the villain. Or if you need a villain, sometimes Jerry can be a villain. If you're not familiar with the Tom and Jerry cartoons, they get brutal with each other sometimes. Like, I watch some of, and like I said, I love the Tom and Jerry cartoons. But sometimes they take turns being the bad guy. Usually it's Tom. Usually Tom ends up being the bad guy. But not always. Sometimes Jerry's the jerk. And sometimes they get a third, like Spike. Spike the dog sometimes comes in. And he becomes the one element for them to kind of like defeat, right? So like the same trope happens all the time in this type of storytelling. We've seen it in Sonic the Hedgehog. We've even seen it in Transformers. Like, why does Shia LaBeouf need to be the main focus of the movie? He shouldn't. It should be Optimus Prime. Not that hard to figure out, guys. And I get it. You need to give your audience an entry point so that like there's some sort of relatability as to what's happening and to what's going on. And I also understand that if you just made an hour and a half long movie of Tom and Jerry either bits or like shorts all smashed in together, it wouldn't be that interesting. I understand. There needs to be narrative. I agree. There needs to be narrative. But there's a way to do it. Like the Peanuts movie was perfect. It was brilliant. Now, again, granted, it's all human elements. It's all kids, and it's all their relationships. So maybe that is not the best of examples, but there is a way to capture the spirit of who these characters are, what it is that they do, and why we love them so much. You can do that for an hour and a half. Even cut it down by 10 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes. That's still a full-length feature film. I don't know, guys. I'm going to see the movie because I love Tom and Jerry, and I'm moderately interested to see how this plays out, and I'm really looking forward to the trailer, which is going to drop later today. Question is for you guys. What do you think about the new Tom and Jerry trailer? Are you looking forward to it? Are you looking forward to the movie? Are you going to see the movie? How do you think that this is going to play out? Do you agree with some of my points, or is there something that I, forgot to mention, or just don't know enough about it to mention it? Jump down to the comment section below. I do that every single day. The comic section below. It is not the comic section below. It is the comment section below. Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Batman from the animated series would want you to do. His name is Batman.